All right. Welcome back to the Underrated Profession Podcast. My name is William Graham, aka Big Fundamentals. I'm holding it down. My co-host, give a shout out to Mr. Barber Maestro, Mr. Mike Sauls. I'm holding it down for him. I'm here at the NYC IBS show, and I got this gentleman. Really, he's probably the man of IBS NYC from what I gathered this weekend so far. But I want to introduce Mr. Thomas here. I'm going to let him introduce himself because we already know who he is. But we always like to let our guests introduce themselves and get a little bit of background. Let's get started. So you tell a little bit who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Let's go. So I'm Thomas James, aka Mr. Stateboard.
Yes, sir.
I'm here at the IBS conference here in New York City. Having an amazing time. Thank you for the compliment and the introduction. We're working.
I didn't want to mess it up because I think you need to give the proper introduction because I ain't want to mess it up and then forget something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could say the same about you as far as being, the man of the hour. I know at one point you were helping us, with some shots, and then you're interviewing everybody. I feel like a somebody since you're interviewing me. So now I feel important. So it's all good, man.
I'll take it. Hey, you gotta take it how you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll jump right on it because I know you got some things planned. I don't want to hold you too long, so we just want
all the time in the world, man. This is your block.
So, I know you already kind of talk about, you already said who you are with background, and I know I've been sitting in on some of your, of course I follow you as well. We've sitting in some of your sessions.
Thank you.
Could you give a little background on like what led you into barbering and where we at? What led you up to where we at today?
Most definitely. So, what all started it was my grandfather. He opened up a barber shop many years ago during the time of segregation. Actually, one of, if not the first black barbershop, 4 colors as the signs and pictures that I have in the family scrapbook. The first 4 colors barbershop in the city.
That's you said your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather did. So like, it's weird because he's my grandfather, but then like it's still not that long ago. You know what I mean?
Right, it's not.
So he opened that, and from there he wanted to retire eventually, and so my dad didn't want to start his life or career all over and jump into the just the hair industry at all.
Right.
And so I was watching how the family shop was kind of like going down a little bit, and I was living in Vegas at the time. I had just finished college. I have a degree in political science. I was headed to law school, and then I was seeing that the family's shop was like kind of deteriorating.
Right. Okay.
So then I jumped into it, and been part of it ever since.
Nice. So, that's crazy history, though. I mean, so it didn't leave the family because you jumped right on in.
Yes.
Is that shop still today, or did you still?
Yeah. So we still have it, and we are we're interested in selling it at this stage, but I mean, we still have it. It's just.
Let's give a shout out to the shop. What's the shop?
Oh yeah, University Barbershop, man.
Okay.
In Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
We love it. The community loves it. All of that good stuff. So. We just have other ventures that we're getting into: schools, education, literature, things of that nature.
Okay, gotcha. So since it's again going back, since it's a Barber College podcast, dealing with talking to students and audience, students and apprentices, and being here at IBS, which is fun. This is my first time. This has been on my bucket list to come out here forever, so I'm excited to be. It's a great show,
really good show.
So talking to students, barber and beauty wellness students. What would you say is one of the number one skills or techniques that they should master today, coming into the profession today?
Before I answer that, let me tell you what you're doing is incredible. Like what you guys are doing, your man behind the camera, yourself.
Thank you.
Because and I can lead with that because this is what the industry needs. It does start in school or the apprenticeship route, right? Whatever floats your boat, that's the direction you should take it. And honestly, just working on listening skills and communication, such as listening to podcasts like these that are speaking the truth to the truth, speaking knowledge to power, and just developing those skills. So for students out there, just making sure that you're developing your networking, because as Roderick said yesterday, your network determines your net worth.
Exactly.
And so that, and then just not being afraid to fail while in school, and honestly, just making your instructors earn their paychecks. Because it's so easy as an instructor to go there. I've been one. I'm not gonna like put down any instructor. I went to work on days and left and said, you know what, I haven't done anything today.
Hey, that's why I'm glad I'm here right now. I ain't feel like seeing none of them jokers right now. And so you're exactly right. We need a break too, right? And and that's funny. That's interesting because that kind of actually leads to a segue. I know this wasn't one of the questions we want to talk about, but actually from yesterday's panel discussion, you mentioned about the mental health side of things, right? So the mental health. How important would you say mental health is to our profession, from instructors, as well as barbers?
Okay,
right?
So mental health is number one, right? Like you have to take care of you, even if you were. On an airplane, I said this yesterday, that the attendant, they will tell you before helping another person, put your mask on first before assisting other people.
Right.
And so, like, if you're not taking care of you, who is?
Right.
Us as instructors, like, we're constantly pouring into our students. We're giving them our energies. We're telling them, hey, you're the best, this, that, and the third. But then, like, again, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're constantly pouring into people, then you're depleting yourself, which doesn't mean you should stop helping people.
Right.
But, at some point you have to say, okay, how am I taking care of self?
Yeah.
And, if you're behind the chair, what ends up happening is that, we give off energies to our clients, and we can receive the energy that they're giving. So we always have to take care of self in a selfish manner, because it's your life and you're the only one responsible for taking care of you.
That's real. And that, and the thing is, we love, and that's so important, because I could, I speak for for us being instructors, and what you just said is that the thing is that we love what we do, right, and so and we love pouring into them, but we got to have that time to be able to for ourselves.
That work-life balance is it's essential. Yeah. It's difficult, and then if you add a spouse, if you add children, to that, but you have to find that, because that's just part of being human,
right?
But you have to find ways, you have to find outlets. If not, it is true, stress kills. Stress will build on you. It is a silent killer, if you will. So you have to make sure that you're taking care of you.
So with that, on that note, well, we talked about yesterday's at the pavilion. We talking about the for those that are not here that should be here. I'm looking at both cameras. Y'all need to be here.
Definitely.
So the Powerhouse Pavilion.
Yes.
What is your involvement with Powerhouse Pavilion, and what can you tell our audience and that's watching that may not be familiar with the Powerhouse Pavilion, and especially specifically coming off the history we just talked about at the beginning of the conversation?
Yes.
I'm not, I don't want to spoil it, but can you break down like the Powerhouse Pavilion and how important that is, and all that goes in the theme this year?
Right. Okay. So when the Powerhouse Pavilion was first started, this was a few years ago, and Natasha and Elizabeth, they came and they brought a committee together to just say that they are trying to uplift minority educators, uplift Black educators specifically. And the very first year that we did it, there were these murals of just people that we as a collective group said, we need to talk about, we had a picture of Madam C.J. Walker, but we said, hey, everybody knows who she is. Okay. Let's go a little further. So we brought, the scientist behind Mr. McBride, the scientist behind Design Essentials.
Okay.
We brought in,
some names y'all need to be looking up.
We talked about, Mr. Bronner of the Bronner brothers, James Bronner, his son. I know him, his wife Stephanie, great people, by the way. We talked about their influence. We brought in just many people that are essential in the industry. We also talked about, James Worthy. We talked about, James Thomas, who's Steve Harvey's barber. Him and I, we linked up because my name's Thomas James. His name is James Thomas.
I wanted to meet Mr. James. I want to meet you, man. I want to meet you because he was he made such an impact. Not to throw you off, but he just made. I don't want to forget, but he made such an impact in the industry back in the day. Everybody, what did he say when he come to the barbershop? Give me that Steve Harvey.
That's it.
Before we knew there was a unit, he was way ahead of his time.
Oh, way ahead of his time.
God, that was amazing, man.
And so what Powerhouse Pavilion did was not only that for our first year, but they allow us to have these type of conversations and discussions to which, you've been a part of, to just ask questions, just like you said, we talk about mental health. We've talked about barriers, minorities in the media, how to actually break through into some of these spaces where there aren't a lot of brown and Black faces. And then the beauty of it to me is I thought that it was just going to be a lot of Black and brown faces in the audience, but it is so multicultural here, and then this year we're just trying to teach and train people that just because something is Black, that it doesn't have to be traumatic nor sad, right? We were talking about the beauty of it. We were talking about, being able to do all textures of hair, helping students out in trying to cross over into letting their instructors know, like, hey, I do more than a silk press,
Right,
you know, and then
right.
with our straight-haired students, some of our Caucasian students, letting them know, like, hey, it's okay to try out a silk press. You do not
Right.
have to be afraid
Right.
of, you know, Formation 4C or anything like that.
Right.
So I just praise IBS and the Powerhouse Pavilion for having this. You know, Elizabeth, thank you so much. Natasha,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Because honestly, I tour a bunch of shows. This is the only one that like focuses on that for us. And so
Nice.
yeah, IBS, you're in my heart forever.
Nice. For the for the Powerhouse Pavilion, how diverse
Yeah.
the audience was, and it was so awesome to see that, because one thing we have a saying around our school, I tell students from day one, matter of fact, even when they do the information sessions, around here, hair only has one color.
There it is.
It's
money.
green.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, it's
I
either
get
gonna
that.
be long, short, curly, wavy, however you want to do.
That's
Only
it.
has one color. That's green.
And I tell my students, whether they're, you know, black, white, male, or female, that you will be stuck if you're only servicing clients that look like you. You know, if we're talking about, you know, I bring up the example of the music industry, to where if you are an American artist, no matter how big you are, until you're able to cross over and do, you know, like another ethnicity, or until you're able to cross the pond and do a world tour, you haven't really made it. And then for Europeans, they're over there in Europe, they're getting it in, but until they can cross over into America.
Yep.
So I tell people, I'm like, hey, you will get bored in this industry if all you're doing is fades and tapers,
Right.
or if you're
Right.
just doing, you know, scissor over comb and pompadours.
Right, you want to diversify yourself.
You
to keep-
have to.
Yeah, because that's what, and honestly, that's how I joke with my students. I said, this is how sometimes I wind up with tons of clippers and tons of different stuff, because I get inspired by maybe something I may see online, and just I want to change up how I do a haircut,
Right.
just to keep myself engaged and not bored. So
Right.
sometimes I may go around, because I still cut part-time a little bit. And you're right, you don't, to get bored, that's the beauty of expanding your tools and your implements, and not limiting yourself in one little box, right?
Most
So,
definitely.
so with that being said, I'm coming into going to the education. What would be one mistake that you've seen?
You said a mistake?
A mistake.
Okay,
One
okay.
mistake that professionally that they have made that they should try to avoid.
Okay.
What mistake have you
So-
seen somebody when they get out? What should they do to avoid?
Yeah, so as far as the mistakes, number one, taxes. You know, and then
none of the mattress.
No, none of that. And because that's what I'm going to be talking about at this pavilion next. You know, money isn't everything, but you can't make moves without it.
Nice.
So like taxes, as well as saving for retirement. Because
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't understand is that no matter how much you love this game that we call the barber industry, eventually your body will get tired.
That's right.
You know, and then the way I look at it is that if you are paying booth rent, there is no 401k plan.
Right.
So you need to learn how. Just as a jewel, everybody, it's called a SEP IRA or SEP IRA. Get you one of those. It's 100% tax deferred. You can go to Fidelity. You can go to ING. At several places. Everybody has them. IRAs are built, or 401ks are built for people who work that 9 to 5 and can get that employer match and things of that nature. But a self-employed IRA is what you want. So not preparing their taxes, not putting money in the bank, like you said, it being under the mattress, because what people fail to understand, you can have 200K underneath the mattress, but when you go to buy a house, you know, like the bank doesn't care. Really, they're going to question why you have 100,000
Right.
underneath the mattress. You know,
Right,
they want
right.
to see bank statements,
Right.
and you will get tired of putting everything in your girlfriend's name. Everything's in your baby mama or baby father's name. Like
Right.
that gets old real quick.
Real quick.
Because then it's hers.
Or your parents' name.
Right. Because it's theirs.
It's theirs.
Theirs lives there. Elizabeth, I was talking about you earlier. I was saying thank you for the pavilion.
Yes.
That's the lady behind it. Yes. This is her.
I know we got limited time, so I can wrap him up and we can just
Yeah.
let you jump
That's
right
who
on
I
in
was
real
talking
quick.
about. Yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah, this is
good.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good.
I was like, yeah, I have to bring her
We'll
up.
do something. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be
that's
talking to you
her.
real shortly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's great.
And here's the chair if you want, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, here's a chair if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So like honestly, she's the person behind the Powerhouse Pavilion.
Nice.
You know, so
Okay.
that's the lady.
That's awesome. All right, so a couple more and I'll let you go.
Okay.
And I haven't even tapped into, because I was trying to do. I was doing this intentionally.
Okay.
Not overlook. But we even get into Mr. Stateboard and his book and all that. I'm trying to do a little bit because I know you out here, doing,
Man,
which is putting the word in. So I definitely don't want people to forget or not to hear about your book that you got, as well as some other things you got going on. But before that, I do got one other, piggybacking off that last question. All right, so of course, we know it was unfortunate with COVID and at that time and things of that nature. And everybody's starting to come back outside again, right? So how do in-person events like this enhance learning compared to online, in your professional opinion?
Got it. So thank you. So I'm gonna tie it into some of the things that I'm also doing.
Okay.
So one of the things that I do, I do have the book, and we'll talk about that. But I also provide continuing education courses for instructors. Right, because if you are an accredited school, then you have to have a certain number of continuing education units towards teaching methodologies. And then in some states, whether you're accredited or not, instructors have to have those. So I provide those. Okay. Now, since COVID, the majority of my classes have all been online. As a CEU provider, I would much rather do these in person because it's just something about being here in person versus me and you doing this over Zoom. Right? It's nothing beats a handshake and a hug. Like you can't. There is a human aspect that happens when you are in person versus something virtual. Yes, you can learn in person. I mean, yes, you can learn virtually, but you do not get that angle. Like you are definitely looking at a one-dimensional scene, and then if anything happens, the internet goes out, battery dies, the education is over. Versus here, you can feel the texture of hair. Like you can watch it fall. There's something about opening up all of your senses to hear the shears and the clippers hit the hair. And then again, like I like to feel people out. Everybody doesn't get my energy. I knew you were a great guy from the first time we met. So I knew that, whatever you were going to ask me when we first started texting, my answer was going to be yes. Versus when I get emails, I'm like, okay, now I have to somewhat cyber stalk this person. Let me check out their Instagram, their Facebook. Do they have a website? Let me hit my connections up and see if they know this person. But like I said, when I met you, like, I don't know, it was at least a year or two ago.
No, it's been that was back. It was Atlanta.
It was Atlanta.
Yes,
it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was about 3 years.
Yeah, I was about to say not 3
Yeah, about 3. It's been a minute, but it felt like yesterday.
That's why I was like, it's been a year or two, but no, it's been like 3. But I knew then. I was like, oh, okay, If he needs something or if he wants something, I'm game.
I appreciate that, and we use your book in our school as well.
Thank you.
So we've been using it. It's got a little raggedy. It got a little, it done got a little, bent up, creased up, and all that good stuff.
Well, I need to give you the audio version.
Oh, that's right.
I got it on audio and electric. So like when we get done, I'll shoot you the electronic version. Send it to your students. It's cool.
Nice.
And then the audio, I'll go ahead and give that to you and let them try it out and let's critique it and let me know. Yeah.
Sound good. All right, two last questions.
Run them.
Right. So what is, and this is one of our favorite ones. What is the biggest misconception that people have of the beauty and wellness industry, in your opinion? You can say barber.
I'll go with beauty. Just because I'm licensed in both, right? Barber as well as cosmetology instructor. The biggest two big misconceptions. Number one, people being afraid to charge their worth. Like that's something, and that bothers me. It really does. And like because since we, the licensed professional students as well, don't value what we're actually worth, it allows for the rest of society to make the jokes about barbers who are charging $100 for a house call. It allows society to say that school is not necessary. If you don't feel as though the school itself is necessary, then you have to believe that the apprenticeship is necessary. I do not like when people downplay my profession. Because with any great craft, or any great skill, there has to be some teaching that goes along with that. So when I do see on social media, and we've all seen it, just downplaying it, and then the second point is how bad people talk about schools. The way I see it, and I tell people all the time, number one, everybody that owns a school is not a licensed professional. They are a business owner. And then also, you did not have to choose that school. You should shop around at different schools.
You're not stuck. You go to somewhere
see, like, have a goal in mind, and then go shop around and find a school that represents you and what it is you're trying to obtain. They honestly, I tell my students, I say, you may call the people that come into our shop your clients, but you as the student, you're my client. So like whatever you guys need, let me know. And I'm an advocate for you because you are my client. As a school owner, director, or instructor, those $7, $12 haircuts that come into the door, that's not paying our bills.
No, that's not.
It's the tuition. So I tell people, like I said earlier, make your instructors earn their paychecks.
That's right.
And then also, and then that'll help stop saying that my school is whack, saying that my school, isn't good. Shop around and find a better school.
And what are you bringing to the school?
Yeah, what are you bringing?
What are you bringing to the school, right? Because you're exactly right, and I know we could get on this or talk on this all day, but you're exactly right. I mean, because I think, and I know this will be another side conversation off camera, but another time I should say. But I feel like the issue that people are having, they holding on to that old 90s mindset or thinking back, this is school back in the day, and now we got instructors that are passionate, that want to see students be successful, want to see successful barbers and beauticians or what have you. Another thing I think that has happened as well is that along with the instructors being passionate, now we're finding that they are now wanting to see continuing ed as well, having that involved as well, right? And I think the whole mindset of like back in the day, thinking that we just here to hustle, get people out, or we just here to fix haircuts or things like that. Those days are going out the window, right? Yes. Now they students do got to do their due diligence and make sure they look around to where they find that fits for them. But it's just I just think that mindset of thinking the schools are not worthy. I have a problem with that being like a school. And I like to use the analogy of that's what's coming. I would like to use the analogy of sports. Yes. Right. What do they say when you go from out of high school to college? What do they say about the game? The game got faster.
It gets faster.
And then what happened when they get from college to the pros?
It gets even faster.
It gets even faster. So every level has a purpose.
Correct.
So to say that school is not serving the purposes.
Yeah, that's not cool. I also feel as though to piggyback and to add to what you were just saying. I don't like that many students, I won't say many, those that are complaining. I do not like how they will say that my school didn't teach me anything. And like you said, like what is the student bringing to the table? At what point did you tell your instructor to show you a thing? A thing. Right? Because how much pulling, I get both sides, but if I'm paying anything that has a comma in it, I'm going to get the most out of my buck.
Exactly. You paid your money, why not?
I paid. Yeah. Show me how to do a color correction.
Yes.
Show me how to get this line out. Show me other ways to fade. If I'm at a school that's predominantly clipper, based, show me how to use these shears.
Put them, like you said earlier, challenge your instructors.
Yeah, why not? And then, you'll turn right around and say things such as, well, my school didn't teach, nobody's here to help, things of that nature. I promise you make your school better when you're not in a smart aleck way or trying to be a jerk about it. But if you tell your instructor, hey, I don't know how to do this, and I came to hair school for this. Right. Let me know.
And you may even be surprised.
You will be surprised.
That you were surprised. For one, you challenging that instructor, and then two, what other classmates had that same question?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right. It happens. So it helps grow your program. I tell students all the time, help me grow the program. Yes. Give me suggestions if y'all. And I'm gonna throw some stuff out there. Maybe does. We could try different activities, different things. Yeah. Some may work. Some may be a dud, but at least we are trying to,
And
grow.
I also put that on the instructor. So like that's from the student aspect, what they need to do. And then I will say from the instructor standpoint, yes, finding the continuing education, like I said, of course I'm biased because like I have my own, continuing ed that I do, and I get great reviews and things of that nature. Stateboard.com, reach out.
I was going to say,
anyway,
I want you to tie it right on in. I see, I'm going to tie it right on into like what's next for you.
Yeah,
and wrap
just making sure that, that the instructors are reaching out. So as far as what's next for me, a business partner of mine, what we've decided to do is something called School Rescue, which is, where we will either go to your school, we can do it virtually. I prefer to be in person, but we're there, we're talking, and we're finding out what it is that's stopping your instructors from reaching from an instructor's mouth to the student's ears. What is stopping that? And we can talk if we need to talk about the menu as far as like services and trying to make the most out of that. Nice. If we need to talk about do team building, things of that nature. So that is something that we're doing on the forefront. Like I said, we have the audio version. Okay. I have a bunch of classes that are coming out using Patreon. And I mean, we're just trying again to bridge that gap. That's on the instructor side. And then for students, of course, all things Stateboard. That's how I got the name Mr. Stateboard to begin with. One-on-one classes, no matter what, whether it's Zoom, because I've had many clients that are in the state of Washington. So of course I'm not flying to the state of Washington unless you fly me out
there.
And other than that, man, just helping students and instructors and everything education.
Awesome. And I know you got to get back over to the pavilion. So Mr. Thomas, I thank you again for taking some time to chop it over
Thanks
with me.
for having me,
I know
Greatly
we could
appreciate
continue this conversation, continue
course.
building, we'll do that. And again, I just thank you again. Can you give everybody your handle where they can reach you at and all that good stuff so we can make sure that they can follow you, or if they're not following you and all that good
Let's
stuff?
make it happen. So again, I'm Thomas James, also known as Mr. Stateboard. You can find me on all things social, Mr. Stateboard. There's MrStateboard. And yeah, that's where you can find me trying to bridge the gap between an instructor's mouth to your dang, I messed that up. From your instructor's mouth to your to the students' ears, and we're just having a ball here at the IBS Show 2025 here in New York. Great weather, great education. Again, this is by far one of the best shows, if not the best show that I've been to. Powerhouse Pavilion is here. Again, I tip my hat to them for that. The only show that is providing the spotlight in areas that we need, that we are concerned about, and that we are going to make moves for.
Nice. And again, we said at the top of the discussion, if you're not here,
why not?
No. You need to be here. All right. Appreciate you again.
All right, man.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right.